Hey, good morning. It's Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, Washington is reconsidering its mask mandate. Amazon Pay and housing prices are soaring, and KUOW broke some Mazdas. Seattle Times food writer Vinh and the Everywhereists Geraldine DeRuiter are here to break it all down. But first, let's get you caught up. Amazon employees can drop the mask at work if they're vaccinated. The Wall Street Journal reports the company announced the new policy yesterday. It'll start today and applies to all the company's workers and locations, offices and warehouses. The masks appear to be leaving us, although some scientists are saying it's too soon. Governor Inslee will announce when he's ending the state's indoor mask mandate next week. Meanwhile, a Seattle man who punched two police officers during the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol has been sentenced to 6 months in prison. 52-year-old Mark Leffingwell pleaded guilty. He's the fifth rioter to be sentenced for assaulting police that day. The other four received prison sentences ranging from 41 to 63 months. And King County's top Republican is stepping down after a little more than a year on the job. Former Bothell Mayor Joshua Freed told the Seattle Times he's stepping down as head of the county GOP to pursue new opportunities here and overseas. Freed was elected chair of the King County Republicans in 2020. It's Friday again. The weekend is here, and so is fake spring. Enjoy it, but don't blink because you know it'll be gone in a minute. And if you're driving a Mazda and listening to this, I am so happy you're here and happy to know it's intentional because this is a podcast. Vinh is back. He's food and drink writer for the Seattle Times. Good to have you. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Trish.
You enjoying the sun breaks?
Oh, breaks. Yeah. I feel like I'm blinking and it's raining. So, yes. I try not to blink. Enjoy the sun while I can.
Mm-hmm. And Geraldine DeRuiter is here, too. She's the founder and chief snack enthusiast of the Everywhereist.com. Check it out. Hey, Geraldine, good to have you on.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You getting out? You enjoying the sun?
I am basically pressing my entire body against the window anytime there's sun at all. My neighbors are not too psyched about that, but it's just how it is.
You got to be quick. Well, we'll all be able to walk about mask-free starting February 18th, according to the latest guidance from Olympia. Governor Jay Inslee said this week he's ending the outdoor mask mandate, and apparently he'll be talking about the indoor and school mask mandates next week. You two, this really feels like a turning point, but also kind of complicated.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a good thing because I think once you go down this path, there's no turning back. Once you reopen, it's going to be so hard to shut down again if there's a spike. This is it. There's no point of no return once you say this.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what evidence they're kind of using to establish this. Like, it seems like he's responding to political pressure and not really any sort of scientific evidence. So I don't know. I'm really not sure if it's the best decision. I live in Ballard, so I'm going to keep wearing a mask for probably the next 23 years, which I'm kind of fine with. But yeah, I think it's going to be really tough if you just as an individual business owner want to have a mask mandate, which I think a lot of people might want to enforce, and that's just going to be impossible. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out. I think it's going to be very different over here in King County, too, as opposed to the rest of Washington. So,
yeah, you're right, G. Think about this. This all came down on Monday because Oregon and California said they were going to lift the mask mandate eventually. And if you followed this during the pandemic, every time Oregon and California make a decision, we follow. We're in lockstep with them. So this was coming, but this is bad. You're right, G. This is so political because there is no proof. We're just saying, yeah, we're going to reopen whenever.
And Geraldine, I think there's something to what you're saying about certain people will keep their masks on, for a lot of reasons moving forward. And I wonder, it kind of brings me back to a thing that I thought about at the beginning of the pandemic, which is whether or not we will just simply become a mask culture now. That certain people will just never take them off.
Oh, and I mean, I'm a woman in her 40s. I am so cute with a mask. Like, you have no idea. Like, society has trained me to be self-conscious about so many parts of my face. So I put on a mask and I'm like, God, I'm so cute. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Yep. There's a lot of ways to enjoy a mask, Geraldine.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of the pressure off. Yeah.
And we say this, and all you have to do is look at Asia, because I remember traveling 5 years ago to China, Guangzhou, and there was no pandemic then, but people still wore masks. I went to Vietnam, and the bird flu was long gone, but people were still wearing masks. And it was nothing. And I feel like we're just going to be like that, like in Asia. We're going to continue to wear masks, and people will do that.
Maybe it's about comfort. Certain people will be comfortable in their mask moving forward, and that is going to mean something to them. But Geraldine, you mentioned this too. Outside of King County, man, I can see them in the road right now. People just tearing them off. Forget about it.
I like to give a shout out to all the people and bouncers you have to check for masks. As someone who's a food writer and go to a lot of restaurants, I can tell you now the toughest job right now is the person who stands at the door and asks for your Vax card and for your mask up. There are so many confrontations.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is it should be the bouncer or someone big and intimidating to check, because I've seen so many restaurants where they assign the minimum wage teenager or a college student or young woman who's an experienced server, make her do it or him do it. And it's unfortunate. It's such a stressful job.
Yeah. And I honestly get very upset when I see the baseline aggression against people who choose to wear masks or have to enforce masks. I'm from Jersey, and there's a lot of posts on Facebook from people I went to high school with who feel personally offended by people who are wearing masks. They think you're an idiot. And I just don't get that, because why is this choice of mine so offensive to you? Anyway.
Oh, no, people are losing their minds over this. I had a whole Twitter spat with someone because I talked about an exchange I had where a guy had his mask below his nose, and I just looked at him and I tapped on my nose and he pulled his mask up, which was rad. It was rad. Yeah. It was a great exchange. And people came out of the woodwork to call me, it's Twitter. So they called me every single name imaginable. But I was like, you guys understand that you were not here and none of this actually affects any of you. You may continue to do whatever. You can lick doorknobs for all I care. But this was
amazing.
It's so politicized.
Amazing. Well, let's just cross our fingers we don't see a nice fat new variant coming down the pike to put us all in our place again. Moving on, you two. It is no secret that tech workers in this area are in high demand. And now Amazon says it's raising base pay maximum from $160,000 to $350,000. We talked to GeekWire about this week. My goodness. I wonder what this feels like to pull in a paycheck with a end of year figure around $350,000.
Ton, I'm sure you, like I, are so happy you went into writing.
Great decision, huh?
Yeah, no, especially food writing. What a great choice we made there. That was just, that's where the money is.
The people in the warehouse are still starving and freezing and have to pee in jars during their non-existent breaks, right? We've established
Tip your drivers, people. Tip your drivers.
Yeah. It's getting absurd. We are actually getting to a point where I don't know, numbers are ceasing to make sense. It feels like Monopoly money when you have completely exhausted the bank. And so you have to make fake slips of paper and scribble because and somebody owns an entire block. They own Park Place and Boardwalk, and they've just got 8 hotels on it, and then you land on it and you're like, well, I'm completely bankrupt. I don't know. That's where I feel like Seattle's going. So
yeah. And I guess I live in Seattle, and the news now is there'll be 25,000 new Amazon workers in Bellevue. So I'm glad to punt this to them and let them deal with the housing issue. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah. And don't think we're not paying for it, because Amazon also announced this week it was increasing the cost of the Prime membership from $119 to $139. So we'll each pay for this individually. So tech workers, you can thank us ultimately for that.
Yeah, you know what, Trish? I've been so good at buying books at independent bookstores and not using Amazon. And now I hear that Amazon is going to buy the rights to NFL games and show some games. And I'm not so righteous, because I will have to get Prime if they get the NFL rights. I need my football. I'm sorry. I'm not so principle after all.
Everybody has a price, Ton. Yours is sports.
Yes, and the price is the NFL package for me. So I yield to Amazon.
Yeah.
I've given in.
I mean, you know what? We all do. I mean, that's our dirty secret, right? Like, that we're stuck because they get things to you so quickly. You can't find it anywhere else. Like, they've made hypocrites of us all. Like, that is what they have done. So we can't even really critique them. I mean, in the end, I think we all here's what I think we should do. I think we should take them down from the inside. So we all apply for jobs.
I'm typing my resume right now, Geraldine. Yeah,
exactly. I've heard you can do this. I've heard that people actually do bait and switch interviews. So they have someone else interview for them on Zoom, and then they show up for the first day of work. And because it's all remote, nobody knows. And we just see how long we can pull in an Amazon paycheck. It's a huge corporation, right? So, I figure we can coast under the radar for at least a couple months.
And hell, with my salary, it would take about 2 weeks to make an entire year's worth. So all I would have to do would stay in for like 2 weeks, and I'd be golden. Geraldine, I think you're on to something here.
This is how we take them down. So yeah, I'm ready to be VP of product. I could do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, in other financial news this week, did either of you see the house in Bellevue that sold for $1 million over asking? Super cute place. I bet they waived the inspection.
Did you think it was super cute? Because I thought it looked like the perfect house if your favorite color is beige.
It's very beigey. It's very beigey.
Yeah, no, it looked like if you were designing your dream house from 1984 and you had clinical depression. Like, it has no windows.
And you know what, Jay? Like, this is going to be a tourist attraction now, right? It's sort of like when Bill Gates was named the richest man in the world. Everyone wanted to see his mansion in Medina. And then you had Nathan Myhrvold and his glass mansion and a T-Rex skeleton. That became the thing to see. And now I think this is the trifecta right here. The over $1 million price tag home. It's like that map of the Hollywood stars.
I mean, yeah, I think it's like, have any of you ever just made a terrible mistake when an eBay auction is closing? And you're like, no, I really need this commemorative Spock mug. And so you had your price limit, and all of a sudden, like, it just gets blown out of proportion. And fortunately, someone else comes in and has an even higher price limit than you. And in the end, you're relieved. You're like, oh, thank God, because I did not want to spend like a significant portion of my retirement fund on that. I think that's what was going on. And then this person, I don't know. I think the buyer's real estate agent hates them. I don't know.
Did they wake up the next morning and go, really? I just paid an extra $1 million for that beige box.
I
don't know. It was it was all cash sale. That's the thing. If you can throw down an extra $1 million cash, maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe that's just chump change to you at that point.
Right? You would have to work at Amazon for like 6 months to earn that. It's crazy.
You know, Jay, it's like, I've been obsessed with this story. I'm sorry, I really have been obsessed with this story.
Yeah, because it's horrible.
I mean, if you're the owner, right? Like, and if you're the owner who paid over $1 million for this, I mean, now everyone in the neighborhood knows you overpaid. And I mean, are you ashamed? Are you proud? I mean, do you just roll with it and just own it and says, yeah, that's right, I'm so filthy rich, I can buy anything I want?
Oh no, that's the person who you go to whenever your kid has like any sort of bake sale or raffle or anything. You go to him and you're just like, how many rolls of terrible wrapping paper are you going to buy for the school person who overpaid for their ugly house by $1 million?
It is something. It is something. This is a world I cannot even relate to. It's just so abstract to me that anybody can play with that amount of money. All right, one last thing before we go. You may have heard this week about a software glitch plaguing a very specific population here. I am talking about 2014 to 2017 Mazda owners who listen to KUOW, or who rather, after this glitch, can't stop listening to KUOW. To catch you up, the infotainment system in certain Mazdas went haywire after a software communication this week. It caused a number of problems. Bluetooth stopped working, backup cameras randomly turned on the highway, and in some cases, the inability to tune away from beloved public radio station KUOW. What a week for ratings, you two. You would think this was intentional.
I feel like now I have to apologize to QAnon and so forth, because all these years I've been making fun of tinfoil hat wearers and their complaint of nefarious radio waves. They're right. My God, Trish, you're evil. You're part of this NPR network.
Well, it certainly did bring out a lot of Twitter responses relating to fundraising and captive NPR audiences. The one that I think is the funniest, though, is that a lot of people didn't even seem to mind. They were like, I love KUOW. Except for the one person who said, and this was actually my favorite, I got stuck on KUOW, but KNKX is my normal public radio station. Shout out.
I did say, the only way this story could be more Northwest, is if the vehicle in question was a Subaru Outback. That is the only way we could top it. But yeah, I do think the conspiracy theorists, I think Ton's totally right. They've got to be coming out of the woodwork because we are just forcing them to listen to this. Gosh.
Yeah, watch your back, Trish.
I'm waiting for somebody to suggest a pledge drive. That's when we really go in. And you're right, Geraldine. If we was really intentional, we would have gone after Subaru owners because, the NPR Subaru crowd is strong.
Oh, it would have been everybody. The one that did crack me up though was the guy who said, he's like, well, it's actually quite dangerous because my rear view camera isn't working and I needed to park my car. And how do you park your car without your rear view camera? And I just felt so much Gen X rage. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, you put your arm over the back of the seat real cool, like your parents did, and then you turn your neck, kiddo. That's
careful not to drop
do.
Your smoke in the back seat.
Exactly. You got to be careful with your neck now because you could injure yourself because you're not as young as you used to be. And that's how you do it.
Well, I wonder if we owe Mazda drivers a tote bag or something. We should get them a T-shirt at least.
Honestly, I think the kids are going to be okay. They're fine. 2015 to 2017 Mazda owners? Are you kidding? That's a nice car. They don't know how bad it could be. The radio could have gotten stuck on commercial radio, right? Once you hear my angel is a centerfold 15 times an hour, that's when things are truly bad. The kids are going to be fine.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Did you hear about the fix?
Yes.
That it's going to cost $1,500
All right.
to fix this?
We have late word from Mazda. We got late word from Mazda, Ton. They are going to fix this for drivers for free. They're going to take care of it, but it's going to be a while because the supply chain is messing up the shipment of the thing they need to fix the problem. So, Mazda owners,
good.
2014 to 2017, we're going to be together for a while. All right, well, we're going to leave it there. Thanks to our guest, Vinh. He's a food writer for the Seattle Times. And Geraldine DeRuiter. She's the founder and chief snack enthusiast of The Everywhereist. Great to have you two on. Thank you.
Thanks, Trish. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
Really appreciate you hanging out with us on Casual Friday. Caroline Chamberlain Gomez produced this show. Matt Jorgensen does our theme music. I'm Patricia Murphy. Have a good weekend.